You guys ready? We're going to talk about a lot of shit, but mostly we're going to talk about how to be yourself, whether you're in business or not. And I think this is one of those moments where Facebook has decided I can't see comments because, you know, it does that sporadically. So what I'm going to do is go to my laptop and see if I can open something there. If you are with me live, comment now and let me see if Facebook is going to cooperate with me. Ooh, I see somebody. Hello, hello. Maybe it is working. Hit me in the comments, please. Tell me who's here, what's going on. This is hundreds and hundreds of Facebook Lives I have done. I have never done one here inside this group. Can you imagine? Oh, Carrie, you're there. Okay, good. Comments are working. Awesome. Love it. Thank you, guys. So this is my very first on my business page rather than inside my group or on my personal timeline, which I find pretty funny. I didn't even realize that I hadn't done them on this page until somebody pointed it out to me the other day. Anyway, what we're going to talk about today, as I promised, is how to be yourself in business, which is a really interesting thing for somebody to tell you they're going to talk to you about or teach you about, because let's just be honest here. I'm an expert at being me. I don't know shit about being you, right? But after coaching tens of thousands of women all over the world, I do know the commonalities that women have when they are choosing to be themselves, whether in business or not. Catherine, yes, you did catch me live. Thanks for coming. I see Jesse's here. Who else is here? Give me some emojis. There are very specific things that women who are killing it in business, particularly online, have in common that help them be the best version of themselves. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey, Tammy. I love it. This is working out so well. Sweet. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there are 9 on my list that I jammed out, but there may be more as I go through this. And if you have questions or feedback, obviously use the comments. That's what it's for. Give me the emojis. Let me know what's going on. The reason I decided to do this particular topic today is because I know that by and large, the women that I work with, hi Erin, Agnesia, happy spring, woo! By and large, the women I work with have a million reasons why they can't say or do the things that they want. And it normally is specifically about what people in their environment or who they run into might think, or what somebody else might say, or what somebody else might do. And I get that that's a lifetime of conditioning. Stephanie's here. I get that we are taught what's expected in school, and we're taught what's expected at home, and we're taught basic manners. But it goes beyond that, because as women in particular, we're also taught what is quote-unquote expected of us. And for many of us, if you're my generation, you were taught what is ladylike and what isn't, what is appropriate and what isn't, that you should never do particular things or should always do particular things that you may or may not have agreed with. And Vanessa's here. Hi! And what I've discovered over time is the stuff that I thought was bullshit growing up is even more bullshit in business, right? So the whole be ladylike thing and wearing pink and pearls and having perfect posture and marrying a lawyer and doing what's expected of me was never really my game, right? It just wasn't my bag. Michelle's here, hi. And for a really long time, 40 years, I thought that there was something wrong with me because it was such, just took so much effort to try to be that way or become that person. And it didn't feel good. And I moved through life being hyper vigilant about what I felt and what I said and what I thought and how I was showing up around other people and what would they think of me, and it was just fucking exhausting. And so Adriana's here. Hi, honey. So what I figured out and my only regret here is that it took me 40 years, but what I figured out was I really didn't have to do all of those things. I could be myself. I could say what I wanted and have my own independent thoughts and behaviors, and hi Kathia, how are you? And I could say things that perhaps weren't popular, but I could be okay with that. I didn't have to give a shit what anybody else thought of me. And I think at the beginning it's a little bit scary, you know, oh my God, what will these people say? What's gonna happen? They've never seen me do or say things like this before, and what's the reaction gonna be? But once you get past that, it's like you just rip the band-aid off and there is no fucking filter. Oh, Joyce, hi, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. So that's basically what happened to me, right? So I was raised, my generation, we were raised to do a particular thing in a particular way, and to support our spouses, and to stay in the background, and to be nurturing and loving. And it was okay if you wanted to be well educated. My parents are strongly in support of that. I'm very well educated. And it was okay if you wanted to have a solid career. You absolutely should do that, and you should be able to take care of yourself. But when push comes to shove, you should be a lady. And you should shut your mouth and do what you're told, whether it's by your boss or a male colleague or your spouse. And that just never flied for me. And so here we were, 40 years into this lifetime, and I had been in business at that point for about 5 years. And I had been still trying to conform and be that person that I thought I was supposed to be that would make everybody else happy. And I was tired, and I was cranky, and I really wasn't happy at all. And I started to get to a place of, does it really matter if everybody around me is happy if I'm not? Even in business, you know, my clients love me, everything is great, but I just don't feel wonderful about the work I'm doing anymore, and I just don't feel like I'm being myself, and it feels fake, and I don't like that. I mean, we want to be entrepreneurs, we want to be our own bosses so that we can do whatever the hell we want, right? Well, my whole modus operandi up until that point had been about living for other people, whether or not I had a boss, and it sucked. So that was the beginning of, you know, the transformation to the Becky that you see today. And it has been a long, strange journey, but one I've enjoyed tremendously. And to be clear, I've never been the kind of person that fit in appropriately or that did all of the things that were expected. I always pushed the boundaries as far as I could. I would always toe the line. I would always see how much exactly I could get away with before somebody noticed, right? So for me to color outside of the lines isn't all that unusual. But when I really let it all hang out, that's when everything changed. That's when business took off, and by took off, I mean from maybe 5 figures to multiple 6, and now multiple 7. That's when I woke up every day feeling amazing, feeling so lucky to be alive, feeling incredible love for not just the people in my life, but for my clients. You couldn't keep me away from the computer or the phone. I couldn't wait to get out there and express myself and just help people in any way I could as me. I didn't have to not swear anymore. I didn't have to put on makeup that I fucking hate wearing. You'll notice I hardly ever do. I'll put Vaseline on my mouth and maybe a little mascara. That's it. The rest of it was to make everybody else happy. Certainly wasn't for me. I could, and frequently do, if you guys are in my Facebook group, Entrepreneur Incubator, I will live stream in my bathrobe from my kitchen table where I'm sitting right now. Why? Because it feels good. And feeling good is all I'm after. Again, you know, a long, weird, bizarre journey, 40 years of doing things the way other people wanted them done. It didn't do shit for me. And I guess if you take away one thing from this before I even get to the meat of what I'm going to present, it's that please don't do that to yourself. Please don't think that you have to conform or fit in or do things in a way that doesn't feel good to you. Speak up. Just say no. Find a way that does feel good to you. Don't buy into what works for somebody else just because it worked for them. You can find a way that works for you. And we're talking life or business here. It doesn't necessarily have to be business. But to get specific, I've worked with women entrepreneurs who made $0. I've had some come to me with negative checking account balances, and many of them have become 6- and 7-figure business owners. I've literally have worked with tens of thousands of women all over the world at this stage of the game. And I'm nowhere near finished. I'm on a mission. What I have discovered is that the people who become the most successful in this online game do very specific things and develop very specific characteristics. And that's what I'm going to present to you today. And with that, I think I'm just going to sort of dive into this stuff. And you hit me with questions in the comments if something comes up for you. So the first thing that I learned on my own journey, and that I recognized among the commonalities for my clients who are most successful, was they ditched fear. They let it go. They would get afraid and give fear a big old fuck you and continue right along the path doing what it was they knew they were supposed to do. That could be a live stream. It could be posting more than they were comfortable with. It could be selling in a way that was new to them. It could be learning a new piece of technology. Amanda's here. Hi, honey. It could be hiring somebody for their team for the first time, because the bigger your business gets, the less likely it is you're going to be able to manage it all yourself. Whatever thing it was that triggered them or alarmed them, they felt the fear and did it anyway. That is a cliche for a reason. You can have the most horrible, terrifying fear and choose to do the thing anyway. And I say this with authority because I'm somebody who has panic disorder and who suffered from PTSD for a time. Let's see. Carrie says, those are some of the very reasons my divorce is the greatest blessing of my life. It allowed me to crack open and put an end to the facade of all the things I was supposed to be doing. Yeah, and act like. It was the first step in standing in more of my truth I was denying. It's such an important message. Yeah, cool. And I'm glad you resonate. Vanessa says same here. I think a lot of women are sitting in that place, and either they don't know or they don't understand that either there are other possibilities or more potential, or that it's okay to not want to live that way anymore, which is precisely why I'm writing a book on that, but I'll get to that later. Leah, I'm really glad you're appreciating it. That's awesome. Okay, so they ditched fear. They just said, okay, whatever it is that's scaring me, I'm going to acknowledge that I'm afraid, and I'm going to do this thing anyway because I know it's in my own best interest. That was number one. Number two was they got really comfortable with the word no. What does that look like? Well, if they didn't want to do it, they just didn't. If their mother thought that they should stop doing something online, they could just say, thanks, Mom, but no, I'm going to do things my way. If their ex-boss, ex-partner, ex-colleague, lady down the street had an opinion about what should be changed, whether online or off, they would just say no. They didn't feel obligated to do the things they didn't fucking want to do anymore. And this is really important. It ties into number one, I think, with regard to ditching fear. But when you can say no, just no, no explanation, no, see ya, you are free to do the things that you know will build the life that you love. Whatever that means to you. And success, I could do a whole nother live stream on what success means to different people. One of the most amazingly powerful live streams I ever did was sitting in the barnyard with my goats, chewing on my hair, talking about how being a multimillionaire doesn't necessarily mean a mansion and a Mercedes if you don't want it to. I mean, I have the Mercedes, but I like my farm, right? I'll get to that later. Hi, Erin. Stephanie says, same with Carrie and Vanessa. Yeah, a lot of women get stuck in that place, and there are options. You can do things differently. You don't have to do what everybody else wants you to do. Is it scary? Yes, but what's step number one? Ditch fear. Step number two, say no. Just say no. Say no. Not interested, can't, don't wanna, whatever. If it doesn't light you up, you don't do it anymore. Okay. And what that does is not only free up your time, but it frees up your energy. And by that I mean, you're no longer cycling thoughts over and over again. Oh God, I hope she's not upset. Oh God, what's this one going to say because I said no? Fuck them. Next. You got things to do. You've got a business to build. You've got a life to live on your terms. That's what we're doing. Number 3 feeds right back into number 2 and number 1. You only do what feels good. It's tragic when something bad happens and you want to be there for somebody, but the bottom line is, if it's going to require a 5,000-mile travel, several $1,000s in expenses just to get yourself there, and it happens to fly in the face of a conference that you're about to teach, well then you don't do it because it just doesn't feel good. As Vanessa says, next. Yeah, and that's totally okay. Somebody may approach you with a business deal that 6 months ago might have really lit you up and excited you, but now you know you're on a different path. Well, you ditch the fear, you say no, and you go and do what feels good instead, right? That happened to you, Tammy. When we are riddled with fear, which is self-created, I can talk about that later, it's usually accompanied by guilt or shame at some level, all of which you're doing to yourself. When you can let it go and shift your perspective, then you're truly free. Then you can make decisions about what's good for you in your life, what's going to make you feel good, not your mother or your sister or a colleague or your ex-boss or whoever it is, but really, what is it that you're after? Michelle says, I just decided to go against something my mentor had been telling me. It never felt aligned. I feel so good now. Congratulations. That's fantastic. I mean, I don't know what the piece of advice was, and it may be great advice, but if it doesn't feel good to you, why do it? You know, your gut knows, your body knows. Listen to yourself. Okay, this leads nicely to number 4. Embrace your opinion. My generation was raised not to have an opinion. Be the nice, polite girl. Try to stay out of the spotlight. Nurture other people. Do what you're told. Be a standout employee. Have a wonderful career. Be smart. But be of service. And shut your fucking mouth. Now, can you imagine what it was like for me growing up like that? You guys know me. Me shutting up. Hello. Oh, Lisa Jane's here. Hi, gorgeous. My advice to that is embrace your opinion. Not only are you allowed to have an opinion, but if you're in business, it is your fucking responsibility to share that opinion everywhere. Doesn't matter if other people like it. Doesn't matter what other people might think. Doesn't matter what other people might say. You'll get haters. That means you finally arrived, right? Those are little $ signs haters. That's another live stream. But your opinion allows people to see not only who you are, but what you stand for. That allows them to instantaneously discover in a really meaningful way if they're with you or they're not. And I don't know about you, but if somebody's not with me, I want them and me to know that right away. I'm not big on wasting time. So if somebody gets on my website and they don't like profanity, on the very first page of my website in big red letters it says fuck, they're going to know instantly I'm not for them. Why is that a good thing? Well, if I didn't say that there and we got on a phone call or she purchased something from me and I said fuck then, she could be highly offended. And by then she's already invested in me, and that's not fair. So if I am representing myself truthfully from the beginning, it's my responsibility to be who I am right there. Do you see how this makes sense? It's no different if you're doing a live stream, posting on Facebook, creating, I don't know, a landing page for an opt-in. However it is you're showing up, even on Instagram, it's your responsibility to be true to you. Embracing your opinion and being very vocal about it. It will get you noticed, love and hate, and it also filters out the people that don't want to be around you for whatever reason. And I really, truly do believe that is your responsibility. Lisa Jane Jones says, you were the very first person I saw online being 100% you, and that taught me to show up as me being authentic. That makes me so happy. Thank you so much for saying that. Makes total sense. Okay, good. Very good. All right, so we've ditched fear, We say no, we do what feels good, we embrace our opinion. Number 5. This is a little sketchy. Some people do this really well, some people refuse to do it at all. I am obviously of the mind that you should do it all the time. That was true for you too, Stephanie. Hey, Carrie, nice to see you here. Okay, number 5, think out loud. Show your thought process. Let people get to know you and see how your mind works and how you operate. You don't only present the perfect polished end piece. Really let them into what goes on, the inner workings, not only of your head, but your business. What are you doing behind the scenes? Everybody wants to feel like they're included. How do they most feel included? When they feel like they're getting a secret. When they feel like they're seeing something that not everybody sees. Don't be shy about sharing the process that got you not only to where you are, but what you continue to go through on your journey toward whatever your goal might be. They really like that. You like that, Jillian? Okay, what are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You like thinking out loud? Yeah, I like that too. Number 6 is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have undoubtedly heard a million coaches talk about this ad nauseum for a reason. Uncomfortable can mean different things to different people. My general rule when I am working in business is if I go about my day and nothing makes me feel like I'm stretching a little bit or gets me a little bit excited, maybe even a little bit anxious because it's the same chemical reaction in your body, then I'm probably not growing. So I think that there's a general disconnect with people when they think about comfortable and uncomfortable. Comfortable means familiar. So you can be in a familiar situation that you don't necessarily like. For example, you're broke. Nobody wants to stay broke, right? You want to move up on the income ladder. You want to reach more people. You want to have more clients, whatever it is that you're after. However, the income bracket you're in is what is familiar. So, in this instance, it would be quote unquote uncomfortable to move up to the next income bracket. What would happen? Who do you have to become to get to the next income bracket? What does that look like for you? The actions you're going to have to take to get there will also make you uncomfortable. So as you're moving through your day, if you never feel a little twang or something in your gut of, ooh, can I do that? Then you're not stretching and growing. Every day, this has to happen, every day. We entrepreneurs are a very blessed species because we make our own hours, we decide what we feel like doing, what we don't feel like doing, who we work with, who we don't want to work with, what we're going to charge. I mean, we have total autonomy, which is the beauty of being an entrepreneur. The downside, the flip side, is you also have to be your own motivator. And if you are not continuing to stretch and grow, nobody's really there to kick you in the ass, unless you have a coach, right? I mean, if you have a coach. But even still, on the day-to-day, you and you alone are responsible for getting your ass moving and doing what is necessary. All right, so getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 7, accepting that everyone won't like your choices. Ties into fear, ties into saying no, ties into, big time, ties into doing what feels good, embracing your opinion, thinking out loud, and being comfortable with uncomfortable. When you stop giving a shit, you're going to gain so much freedom, so much power, so much strength. I can't even begin to convey to you how amazing that feels. And some of you I know do this now and you get it. For those of you who are on the precipice, I promise you, take that leap and you will never look back. They don't have to like you. They don't have to like your choices. And you really don't have to care. The subject for this live stream was how to stop giving a shit. This is a biggie. I spent the majority, almost all of my life, living for others, and all it made me was miserable and unhappy. when I finally figured out that I didn't have to fit into a perfect little box of somebody else's choosing, and that I could stretch out and sort of feel into being exactly who I was, whatever that meant, and I didn't have to care if somebody else didn't like it, well, that's when things fell into place. Because I was able to stop pretending to be somebody I wasn't. That allowed me to be open and vulnerable, not just with clients or in business, but in real life. Bruce would not be here, my husband, for those of you who don't know, the love of my life. Never would have found him if I was still busy trying to fit into a box and be somebody I wasn't, because what does he value most about me? That I have a fucking opinion, that I'm not shy about sharing it, that I believe that we're all here to be who we are, and that we're all doing the best that we can, and that, you know, this world has no place for judgment. The very things that I used to hide about myself are what he values the most. So doors open when you learn to be you, and when you stop caring what other people might have to think. Michelle, so true. When I gave up caring so much, everything shifted. Yeah. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Jillian says that uncomfortableness resonates with me. I sometimes fear I'll have to let up those that are not moving forward with me. You mean let go of those who aren't moving forward with you? You might. Which hurts because I love some of these people. Yeah. There's a difference between letting go and loving people from a distance, right? I love my family. I love my friends, many of whom I've had since, you know, childhood. But it doesn't mean that I need to talk to them every day. You can love people from a distance. You can keep things civil. When I talk about, you know, sharing your opinion and understanding that people don't have to love it, that doesn't mean that I go out of my way to find people that aren't going to like it and shove it down their throat. It just means I go about the business of being me and let them go about the business of being them. Erin says, not easy, but so freeing. Oh, Becky's here. Hey, how the hell are you? Okay. Next. Mistakes. Make them. Please, God, go make them. Fuck up. Make a mess. Truly, this is like the best piece of advice ever. People that try to live for others and fit into perfect little boxes also have this notion of they have to be perfect all the time, and they have to do things to please everybody all the time, and they're not allowed to color outside of the lines at all, and what will people say, and oh my God, you have to stop that. The only way, and this is actually science, you can look this up. I am not a scientist, nor do I play one on TV, but this is scientific. Neuropsychologists have discovered this. Mistakes are how we learn. Even as a kid, tying your shoes, riding your bike, figuring out the stove is hot. We don't have any other way to learn. You can study something ad nauseum. Let's say you want to perform heart surgery. You go to school for X number of years. Then you're an intern where you watch somebody else do it. Excuse me. For X number of years. And then at some point they're going to let you try it. But you're going to make a mistake. Hang on, because I'm hacking up along. Holy crap. Did I swallow something? Eyes watering. Being comfortable with mistakes is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yes. Hey, Emma. Jillian, you're beginning to embrace not fitting in and fucking up. You want to make mistakes. Yeah, that is life. It's the only way you have to learn. You can only study so much. But the practicality of it is you need to do things in order to truly embrace them and have them embedded. Oh my God, my eyes are watering like mad. Hey, Kelly. Lisa Jane wrote about this the other day, that it's totally okay to make mistakes. Sweet. So yeah, if you're not willing to fuck up, if you're not willing to make mistakes and then teach people what you've learned about it, then you really have no business being in an online business. Because you need to be honest about who you are, what you do, and how you got there, right? This is the whole thing that we're talking about. How do you be yourself in business? You don't hold anything back. Not only are you going to learn when you make a mistake, but you're teaching a million other people who are coming up the ranks behind you. and they're going to remember your lessons. And maybe that means that they're going to have their own mistakes too, but they may not be to the degree you've had to go through, right? We're all here to teach other people something. Hey Valerie, how you doing? Fear, roadblocks, limiting beliefs, all of this stuff comes up as you're moving through these steps on your journey to figure out, you know, what you looks like when you're in business working online. Most people come up to fear or a limiting belief and they stop. And so they lose all their momentum. And they sit there and they've got to make a decision. You can count on fear, right? We're human. It's a normal emotion. You can also count on limiting beliefs. Nobody here is perfect. And embracing those imperfections is what makes you money, but we can talk about that later. If you expect the fear and the blocks, and rather than stopping and losing momentum, you just sort of slow down and look around and then keep going, you're going to get to your destination much faster. So it doesn't have to stop you. Pay attention, right? Because you want to figure out what those limiting beliefs are and maybe how they're affecting your behavior, but they don't have to stop you. Okay, so let me see. Do I have anything on the back? All right, let's recap. You ready? This was fun. This is a good one. Number 1, ditch fear. Courage makes you money. Write that down. Courage makes you money. This applies to almost every principle. Number 2, get proficient at saying no. You don't want to do it? No. It's going to take away too much time from whatever it is you'd rather be doing? No. Don't want to deal with it? No. Embrace who you are and embrace what you want. Say no to the rest. Number 3, do what feels good. Ties in nicely to the first 2. Let me think about that. Will it feel good? No? Then I guess the answer is no. See ya. Number 4, embrace your opinion. Yeah, you do have one. I know you do. For many women, again, specifically women of my generation, we were taught to filter that out or dilute it or just shut the fuck up, basically. That doesn't serve you in business. Matter of fact, it's the polar opposite. Turn up the volume, turn down the filter. It's kind of a recipe for success. Within certain parameters, please don't go off and do something crazy. Think out loud. Number 5, think out loud. Show your thought process. Let people see how you arrived, what you've gone through to get to the place that you're at, and what you're continuing to learn. They want to know that they're not alone. They want to know not only that somebody else has been there and gotten through it, but that maybe somebody else is there right now, navigating it, and they can lean on you. Yeah, I'm wrapping up, Tanuja. You'll have to catch the replay, but thank you for joining us. Next, accepting everybody isn't going to like your choices. It's the same as accepting that everybody isn't going to like your opinion, right? Who cares? You may not like their opinion either. Do you ever think about it that way? Many women go, what will they say? Well, do you like everything that comes out of that person's mouth? No. Does it affect your relationship in any way? No. Well, I never really thought about it. There you have it. Okay, and then the last one is making mistakes. Mistakes are how you learn. Fuck-ups get you knowledge in a way that nothing else can. They imprint lessons on you that you will never forget. Does it necessarily mean you're going to love it when it's happening? No. But when you come out of it on the other side, you're going to have a perspective that you never had before. Kara says, not everyone's going to like you. They're not your people, and you're not going to like everyone either. Yeah, bingo. So just, I guess, you know, the take home, what's the take home? There's so many gems in this one. Somebody's going to have to go back through it. The biggie is they don't have to like you, and you don't have to care. You can be afraid. A limiting belief can come up. Something that would normally make you slam on the brakes does not have to. You can slow down. You can observe. You can cruise through it and process it. But you don't have to lose all your momentum, right? Oh, you wrote them all down for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Expect fear. Don't let it impede your progress. Expect not everybody will love you. You don't have to care, right? Stephanie, courage makes you money. Yeah, I think that's the theme for this one. Courage makes you money. Every time I've ever taken a risk and done something that made my heart skip a little beat, or that I'm truly not certain will turn out the way I want, it's either been a fucking amazing thing or a total disaster. And even if it's been a total disaster, I've learned something I couldn't have learned any other way. So I'm a risk taker by nature, which is probably why I'm an entrepreneur. But take it for what it's worth. Courage does make you money. Okay, so that's it. Those are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 top tips for being yourself in business. It's not that hard at all. We women get so caught up in what other people might think or say or do to us. We never stop to think about what the hell we want and how we want to feel and how we want to show up and impact the world and how we want to get our message out there and help other people. And as long as you are continuing to stuff yourself down or mute yourself or worry about other people's opinions, you aren't able to express yourself in a powerful, meaningful way. And if you're not able to express yourself that way, how are your clients going to find you? How are you going to impact their lives? How are you going to make money and run a sustainable, profitable business? You're not. You'll be drowned out. Don't do that to yourself. It's not worth it. And it's all based on one thing, and it's fear. It's stupid. Hey, Heather, how you doing? You're very welcome, Lynn. This was a good one today. I thank everybody for being here. My very first live stream on my business page after all this time. Can you imagine? I hope that you enjoyed it. Any questions, comments, whatever, leave them below. I always come back and check out later what you guys have to say or how it can help you. And I'll see you again soon.